Okay. This is me getting ready to talk about my build of Rex Kreuger's joiner's bench. It's going okay. I'm mostly happy with it. I made a lot of mistakes along the way. The whole thing pivots pretty bad. This leg appears to be I don't know, a 1/4 inch higher, longer than everything else. This one appears to be just mounted lower to the cross brace. There's a little bit of a lip here. I'm gonna sand this down. Cut a lot of these too wide. So I ended up shimming them. Same thing over here. Put the brace in a little too high apparently, and ended up, when I started flattening this one, it was the kind of a big hump on the side rail. Ended up tearing out huge chunks on the ends, and so replaced this whole 4x4. Realized that the last one I put in was sitting on this brace, not on in the seat on that 2x8. So ended up cutting down 1/8 of an inch there. And then it all sat in there properly. But by then, in order to try to make it work, I had cut too much off this 1.5 inch section of the 4x4. So I ended up shimming on the bottom and the sides so that I'd still have a connectivity between the end here and have the force travel into the arm. This thing's a little too short. Just filled it in. Just gave it an extra squirt of glue. Oh yeah, this piece, you can't tell on this side, but on the back side, this 2x8 has started to split where the, oh, now it's covered up by the cross brace. But that 2x8 started to split. You can start to see at the end here where I kind of picked, I don't know, lousy wood. Oh yeah, and did the cross braces backwards on this side relative to this side. So I can get this other diagonal bit seated properly, but not on the other side. So I'll get another piece of 2x4 at some point, cut it at the funny angle and try to get it put in there properly. I didn't have the patience to try and do half laps again on both sides, so I just towed that one in. Key thing here for me in terms of making mistakes, when I started to do these the ends, I just drove the screw in without driving a pilot hole or countersinking. And yeah, I glued, I had the one side clamped and square, and that one, I had a lot of attention to that one. So I feel like on the left side, I'm left-handed, on the left side, I'd put that in nice and flush, it's square. On the right side, I slapped the glue on there and, had it level with my hand or whatever. Just leaned on it and drove the screws in, and I know that's how I introduced the slide. It's taller on this side and on the back corner. The same thing happened in both cases. Or well, no, I mean, like the side I did first is perfect. The side I did second slipped. I got careless. Key thing was, for everything else, was to get a countersink bit. This is the drill bit with the countersink collar at the top. And that made everything else so much easier to assemble. Yeah, I built the saw bench first. Man, I am terrible at making cuts. It took me forever to make those half lap joints. There's there's nothing straight about that whole thing. Even took this, glued together the 2x6s, tried to, take it to a local wood shop, run it through the planer. It was so off, so like corkscrewed or whatever, that couldn't get a bite on any side, and just never got flat. I just decided slam it together. It wobbled terribly, just like the bench I'm working on, right? And I just drew lines around the feet and cut it, shimmed one leg, got it close to level, trimmed the legs, and now it's mostly stable and flat. It's a little bit of a wobble, but could not have done this whole thing without that. Did a lot of pardon the mess. I did a lot of my cuts on this Ricky thing that I built 20 years ago, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Everything's kind of held together with fasteners. All the weight's carried by the screws. And this, I thought I was being clever by putting this 3/4 inch plywood in the middle so I could swap it out or something. It was stupid. Anyway, this is gonna be, I don't know if this will ever be on the internet, but this is my record for posterity. I tried to do a lot of like smart selection of the wood. I need to spend a lot more time on that because there's so many problems. The 2x10s I have selected for the top are full of knots and probably cupped or bowed or whatever. Tried to reuse some 2x6s that I had around the house. That instantly made that side not available to be the front, because then I couldn't do the cross bracing. Used a piece of 2x12 from my dad's shop. Thought, that'd be great. Turns out it's a little bit cupped too. A little bit of a bow there. And I was so eager to get started that I didn't take it to the shop and have it planed. So I'm gonna have to put this on its side and plane it a little bit, excuse me, to get to kind of close to flat. But anyway, this I started, from the chips on the floor here, I've started to level out the high points. I've got to see what I can do with maybe a sander, take a 1/16 of an inch off the top of this leg, shim it. Man, that's a lot. Shim it and figure out what I'm going to do with the legs. It's, even with the shimmed, it's high on this front and at that back. The whole thing's torqued. Whole thing. But this is woodwork for humans, and I'm gonna give myself a little bit of grace. I learned a lot. So there it goes. Maybe one more update when I finish the whole thing.